this everyone?
Yeah, this is
I
all
think
of us.
so.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so I have recording on my screen. Does it show recording on your screen?
It just said that the
It is
meeting's
recording, yeah.
recording.
Okay, perfect.
So we're supposed to discuss. Did any of you like write down what we were supposed to discuss? I have it right here.
Yeah.
I have it open.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we have to share our empathy maps. I don't know if like she wants us to like share the screen and like all of us individually show the maps,
Mm-hmm.
or if she just wants us to like talk about it. And then there's a couple questions we have to go over. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you guys want to structure this or get this started.
Maybe if we each like share a screen, we could show our maps and like kind of just give an overview of everything.
Okay, give me 1 second so I can pull mine up.
All right. I can even like start with mine too.
Yeah, that works.
Okay. Perfect.
And then
for the host, it says like host disabled participant screen sharing. I don't know how to fix that.
let me. Okay, so my options are one participant. Okay, let's do this. Okay, now try.
Okay. Juliana, I love your hair, by the way.
Thank you. I got it done last week.
Yes, it looks so good.
I love that. All right. So I organized mine in like bullet points basically and just kind of like went through each of the numbers and just answered the questions. And my book was The Handmaid's Tale, which is about like women oppression and like that, like living in that kind of dystopian society. Let me see if there's anything like I really want to highlight. For like what did they say, or like / what did they hear, I just like came up with some quotes that I felt were important in that, and then I just like described the quotes and how they relate to like our students for that part. And I don't know what I should like specifically talk about in here. Basically I don't know if anyone has read The Handmaid's Tale, but yeah, it's about like women who like are like the handmaids are just like women that are used for reproduction, and they have like no really like identity or like social standard really. They're kind of seen on like as like the lowest on the totem pole. But yeah,
I started watching the show of
I was
that.
gonna ask if there was a show. I thought it sounded familiar.
Yeah, there's definitely a show, and I've started it, but I don't know. It's kind of it's definitely dystopian.
Mm-hmm.
I read it like a year ago with my Women in the Humanities class.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know what else to really point out about my map, but
Oh, it was solid. That's good. I can go next. Hold on. Let me see if I can share my screen really quick.
I really appreciate Slack being online as well as an app. It's just so useful.
Okay, can you guys see this? Do you see it on my screen?
Yeah, now I can.
Okay. So I did mine on, I just literally just copied the empathy map and just pasted it to my website, but I did Game Changer. Just really quick, Game Changer is, it's basically about a football player. His name is Ash. He gets hit pretty hard, and he's taken hits before, but this particular hit, for whatever reason, really knocks him out of it. And after he gets hit, he gets transported to other realities and dimensions. So that's number one. We're empathizing with Ash. He took a big hit. So what Ash is doing throughout his story is, like I said, he's going to these different worlds. Each world is like a little different. Sometimes, there might just be a small change from our world, like maybe stop signs are blue instead of red. In other worlds, there's like bigger things going on, like segregation is still a thing or stuff like that. So he has to kind of like go through each and every one of those worlds and like in his eyes fix it, I suppose. And then as like the story progresses, he becomes more and more open to like different people. Let me get away. Third one, what can he see? He sees different realities. Like I said, he just goes to different worlds. couple things he says is, I've taken bigger hits than that. He says that after he takes the hit that knocks him into the other worlds. Towards the end of the book, right here, he goes, "At least I was no longer a carrier in the epidemic of ignorance." What he means by that is he is a straight white male. There's like lots of elements of white privilege throughout the novel. And towards the end of it, he kind of opens up to other people. He kind of understands people better. And so he feels like he's not ignorant anymore towards the end. What do they do? I mean, I feel like that's kind of the same as what do they need to do. But yeah, he needs to go to these different worlds and fix them. What does he hear? There's nothing like really specific that he hears. But like I said, one of the dimensions or whatever he goes to, segregation is still legal. So I'm sure that he heard a lot of things that you really typically wouldn't hear in today's world. What do they think and feel? He's frustrated that he can't understand other people. He gains a better understanding of diversity, moral standing, and purpose. And then his motivations are to respect all people, no matter how different. And that's it, I think. And how do I stop sharing? Oh, there we go. Okay.
Do you want to go next or should I?
You can go.
Okay. Up. I also just filled mine in, but I've got a tablet, so I hand wrote. So I wrote
fancy.
The Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard, or however you say her last name. But basically it's like a separate kind of setting. Regular people, the common people have red blood, and then the fancy upper class people have silver blood and they have powers. And then she ends up showing that she has powers, and so it's just a mess from there. So really she hears a lot about how reds, or is what they call them, needs to be like controlled, and they can't know that she has power, otherwise there might be an uprising. So there's they have like a war, and the red people are always being conscripted and stuff like that. So she hears a lot about that, and then she feels powerless because she doesn't feel like she can do anything. She says that what can she do to avenge her brother and even try to save the others? And she's always hearing that reds can't be as good as silvers, and kind of internalizes it. And her main fear is like not being good enough, and she's kind of frustrated with the way that her friends and families are treated. Yeah, it was interesting doing this map. I've never done something like it.
Yeah, I felt like some of them were kind of like repeats almost.
Yes,
yeah,
that's my issue with dystopians, because they get kind of cliche.
Yeah, I always feel like sometimes with dystopians it's very predictable. Like you kind of can see where it's going, unless like it's a random one that throws you a curveball, but then you're almost like, okay, you did that on purpose, so now it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so she sees inequalities and she hears about them, and she just kind of internalizes them until she can't anymore.
Interesting. Okay, let me figure out how to do this. Give me 1 second.
How are we going to post this?
I was just about to ask.
I think that because I'm hosting, so I think I'll get an email and then like with the link, and then I'll just forward it to you guys. It's what I'm thinking is going to happen, but I don't know because it didn't tell me anything. So.
If all else fails, I'll put it on my YouTube.
Okay.
Okay.
You can just link it.
Are all of us supposed to submit a recording, or just one of us supposed to?
Let me see if it says
but I'd
quick.
rather be safe than sorry.
Yeah, I thought I saw that all of us need to, but I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, I'll just be safe. I'd rather be safe than sorry.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily say, but yeah, I'll just post it. Okay.
So if you could just like send that link to the Slack group chat, and then.
Okay.
I think that's what she suggested. It's not straight out said, but I think that's what she suggests in the instructions.
Yeah, I'll try to send it like both in email and Slack if it'll let me. Like I'll just like copy it. Okay. This maybe. Are you seeing? Okay. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Okay. So I read Trinity Found, and it was a new release. Like it just came out in December. And it was a dystopian novel about a girl who discovers that she's like the lost daughter to a king in a parallel world. and she discovers that she has like powers, and like the classic, you know, she turns 18 and like at midnight she figures out that she has all these powers. And it was interesting. I probably wouldn't recommend it to read, but that's okay. Okay, so empathizing, so you know, main character, so she discovers on 18th birthday that her biological parents are royalty in a parallel world. What do they do? So she's supposed to go into hiding, so now that she has like all these powers, like there's people that want her and all that. And the powers are called like virtues. And let's see, and then what does she see? So she watches her world basically get flipped upside down. And you know, sure, her parents that like adopted her suddenly, like their minds are erased to forget about her, and she's oddly okay with it. Like the character development was not well done in this video, or in this book. But anyway, let's see. Okay, what do they say? So basically, like a lot of explaining about, you know, the other like parallel world of anger. I think that's what it's called, Angor, whatever. And she also says, I will mentally slap you a lot, because she can like mentally, like physically, like actually slap people. I don't know. It kind of got annoying because I felt like every 10 pages she was saying that. Let's see. What do they do? So they're kind of like warriors, I guess. I don't know. And then what do they hear? So she learns her history from other people. Um, let's see, that her mother like died to protect her. And she also learned that her father, the king, intended to kill like her soulmate, because that was like a factor into here. And then like at the end, like the soulmate's mad at her, and of course drama for the book 2. And then pains and gains were kind of the same, like her gains that she wanted to like meet her father, but she was like mad at him for, you know, like abandoning her. And then yeah, the soulmate theory. Yeah, that was my book. I don't know, it was okay,
Seems
but
like
it
a
was
lot.
yeah, it was a lot that
Usual
like
dystopian cliches.
yeah, and it just like no character development, and I felt like she was really just okay with like up and leaving her world without any, I don't know, it was just not there. um so doing this, I was kind of like ripping the book to shreds. I'm like, she watched her world get turned upside down and she was okay with it. Like, I don't know. But yeah, so that's me. Let me figure.
Okay, and then yeah, we have discussion, like 4 discussion questions to do. What does dystopian literature experiment with reality?
I guess I can start with that. So I was thinking about it when I was reading the question earlier, and the way I look at it is it allows the author and the reader to not necessarily like, you know, look at something in a completely different way, but it gives them an opportunity to look at, you know, something that's familiar to them, but with a twist to it. So it allows people to like imagine a world like where segregation is still legal with my book, or imagine a world where you have a king, queen, mom, and dad in a different parallel universe. So yeah, I feel like it's just, you know, it just gives us more opportunities, like a wider array of ideas and things we can, you know, look at.
I think it also like works to like contrast usual like concepts, where it's like it's kind of like testing the reality and like turning it, and like it kind of like highlights the problems in our society that are still common, but like we just don't like
It's just like
conceptualize
pushed
it.
to an extreme.
Yeah, it just like really highlights the problem and like puts all of its focus on that, and like it creates these like fantasy worlds that kind of fit in with it to make things more interesting.
Yeah, I definitely think that it basically just takes like your everyday life and it's like, okay, well, what if this happened? Like, what if someone just randomly came in and, could read your thoughts or whatever? So it takes like an ordinary situation and just makes it like different, I guess.
That even works with the second question, just like how, in what ways does it reflect reality? Because it does take like what you said, like normal things, and just emphasize it.
Streams it, kind of like the pro-choice, pro-life thing. That's kind of like Handmaid's Tale, because it pushes it to an extreme of pro-life, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, it's snowing.
Oh yeah, there's gonna be a storm, I think today and tomorrow.
Gross.
Why does this genre appeal to adolescents?
I think it's because the characters are like normal-ish people, but they have special powers or something, and everybody wants to be the one with the special powers.
I was going to say that, one, they're entertaining because, you have all these different, ways you can go with it. And then two, usually like the characters, I don't know if it's just my experience, but like all the dystopian novels I've read, the characters are always like kind of younger adults, maybe even adolescents. So I feel like they can relate to the character a lot better. And that's why they like that genre.
Yeah, I definitely think that it appeals to adolescents too, because, that's like where they're going through like the most like changes and, who knows like what they're dealing in like their home life. So it's like acts as an escape to whatever they're dealing with. So I think like that can contribute to like the appeal.
Going off the escape thing, I guess it's because it's just pushed so far away from what we have that it's an even better one, but there's still some similarities, I guess.
I know, like personally during middle school, like I was super big into like science fiction genre and like Hunger Games, like Divergent, that whole series. And so I think like just the genre of like science fiction is like worked into dystopian like text a lot. And so I think that has some appeal on like adolescents. What do the books read for this week have in common? How do they differ?
I feel like we kind of hit it earlier, is they just take like a small, or not necessarily a small problem, but they take a problem like that we're dealing with as a society and they just run with it and they focus on it. They really pick it apart. And the only way they really differ, in my opinion, I mean, we've been talking about how these novels are like kind of predictable. The only way they differ from what I've seen is just the issue that they decide to base their novel off of. I feel like for the most part, like the structure is pretty much the same for them though.
And the powers they get is different.
Yeah. I definitely think too, like dystopian in a way, like at some point throughout like the novel or the series deals with like an issue going on in real life, but it puts it in a different perspective to where you think about it differently and you almost can like understand it better.
Something I kind of noticed, who had like a female main character? Just Taylor and Natalie?
I did.
Did you have like a romance focus in yours? Like, was it?
Yes.
Did it talk about it a lot? And did it talk about it a lot in yours?
Just a little bit, nothing. Yeah, like she was like restricted, so
I think kind of a thing is like the female focused ones, they'll focus a lot on romance, but the male ones are, I guess, more introspective, which I think is interesting.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. Yeah, I don't even think the word romance is like brought up once, and the whole story is just Ashley, like it's an introspective story. He's just working on himself the whole time, and that was a good point.
Yeah, that's really interesting because now I'm trying to think back to like all the other dystopian novels that I've read, and I feel like
the female main character, there's a romance.
Like with Hunger Games, it's Peeta.
Love triangle, always.
Or I don't know if anybody's read like the Mortal Instruments series, but like there's like a lot that happens in that, but underlying it's all romance. So that's interesting.
That is, because then I think of like Maze Runner, and like that's just like there's really no romance in it, and it's all based around
the main character.
Yeah.
That's I never thought of it like that. That's actually really good. That's a good point.
Maybe it's who it's written for. I guess the girls want magic powers and a romance, and the boys, I don't know.
Yeah. Right. So is there anything else?
I don't think so. I saw it had to be like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
If I wasn't missing, it said like the recording had to be 45 minutes. I was like, there's no way.
Yeah, 30 to 45.
How long are we at
Close
right
to
now?
30.
Do you know?
We're at like 20 something.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
we're at
not
like
bad.
25. Yeah.
Are there any like discussion questions that you guys can think of off the top of your head that you want to address?
I guess the make a connection text itself. You best believe I'd never do any of the stuff in the book that these characters will do. They make such dumb decisions sometimes.
Yes.
It's like a horror movie. It's just like, don't go that way. Why did you go that way?
It just hurts to read.
You read it and then like you just like want to throw the book like across the room.
Secondhand embarrassment in a TV show. You just want to get up and leave.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, and but like you have to keep reading to see like if it gets better at all.
Sometimes it doesn't and you're just stuck with it.
Yeah. But like the worst is like when you finish a book and you're like, what, like, how is this a book? Like there needs to be something more, in my opinion. Like, especially with mine, I just felt like there was just a lot that didn't make sense, or the fact that they skipped over so much, and I was just not here for it.
I feel like with dystopian novels like are aimed at like younger, I feel like they try to do too much. Like
they always aim at a trilogy, I think.
Yeah, they always
feel unfinished.
It's always so much, and it's just like there's just so much to take away from it, and you can't like make all that content, you know, that great doing it like that. So I think that's a big reason why as well.
There's like also like there's a difference between like watching something and reading something, because I know with like The Handmaid's Tale, reading it is like way different than when I did watch like the TV show. It was so much more graphic and it was like way more hard to get through, because like you're actually seeing it and it's not just like your own imagination making it up, because like I feel like that kind of shelters like whatever you're reading about. But yeah, that's just.
So was the book as graphic as the TV show?
No.
Okay. So because that's like the thing with the show.
Yeah,
it's probably that visual impact.
Yeah. Have you guys?
The show is aggressive.
Yeah. Have you guys watched Bridgerton?
I've heard of it. No, I've never seen it though.
It's so good. But
is Handmaid's Tales worth watching?
I think it's on Hulu.
Yeah.
Is it on Hulu?
I don't think. I didn't really make it past like the first.
Not your thing.
Yeah, I couldn't.
A little too graphic.
But also like something in Bridgerton, the show is like that's like controversial, is like she technically like rapes the guy, but like but like my roommates and I were actually talking about it, and we're saying like if the roles were reversed, like it would not be considered rape, because it's just like, I don't know. I don't want to like get into all that, but it was just like cool to have a discussion about that.
Yeah, no, that scene was definitely uncomfortable to watch, just because of like the double standard, and also too like you knew exactly what she was doing when she did that, and I was like, whoa, wait a second.
Yeah, I
like,
know.
You went from an innocent person to that.
Yeah, but highly recommend watching that.
Yeah, very good, and it's a quick watch. You can watch it in a day.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like dystopian. I mean, it's more like old timey, but
yeah, it has like dystopian characteristics in it.
Yes.
Old timey feels dystopian just because it's so different, I guess.
Yeah.
Do you think like middle schoolers should definitely read like the Hunger Games series, and like
the Hunger Games itself is like crazy difference between the movies and the books?
Yeah.
I think that middle schoolers should, honestly, because I don't know. See, sometimes I think about it, like I'll be reading a book that's like YA, and I'm like, this shouldn't be geared towards middle schoolers. But then I realized that like when I was in middle school, like what I was reading, I'm like, okay, well, I guess it is.
I know like personally, because I read Hunger Games like with my guided group in like 6th grade, and then we made it like a huge thing because the movie was coming out that year. So then like my whole guided group went to the movie theater and made it like a field trip, and so that like I will always remember that, because that like made it so special. So I think it's important to like have like them like whatever they're learning in school, like make it an out of school activity too, because then like they're always going to remember that and have like a positive like mindset. Or
I was gonna say I did the same thing for the Percy Jackson series. I think they
that
came
movie
out with,
sucked.
It was pretty bad. It was bad. I'm not
I
even
love
front.
that movie.
But it kind of like what Natalie said, like we we would all read it and we were all planning to go see it, and it was just, I remember it like clear as day, just because like you were so immersed in it, like you lived, breathed, and everything, like the novel you were reading. So it was a lot of fun. I feel like all students, or especially middle school students, should have that opportunity, because it does make reading fun in that regard.
Yeah, we watched or we read The Boy in the Striped Pajamas, and then we watched the movie.
My mom does that with her class.
Yes, and I loved it because I mean the book was hard, to read anyway, but then like watching the movie too, like it really just like put it all in perspective. And it's kind of like the same thing with Anne Frank and stuff, like reading it and then watching the movie. So I definitely think that you get more out of it.
Yeah.
That different medium, I guess, emphasizes different things, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My class did that with Marley and Me. I don't know why they made us of all stories. Yeah, I don't know if it was middle. It might have been like 5th or 6th grade. But yeah, we read the book, and then they made us watch the movie in class. Like everyone was crying. It was brutal. I don't know why they made us do that. But yeah, I did something like that too.
I could not watch that in class.
No, it's.
Was your teacher crying? Do you remember?
I don't remember. All I remember is just you couldn't hear anything because all you heard was like sniffles. It was so sad.
Yikes.
Do you guys have?
My mom does that.
Are you guys in Teach 238?
No.
Not this semester. What class is that?
I think it's like the clinical. It might be for
I think I have that next semester.
I have that at 5:30 today.
Yep, next semester. With Dr. Falby?
Mm-hmm.
She's really cool. I had her last semester for a class.
I have her for a different. I think I have her for 1:30 this semester.
Yeah, that's what I
had her
as well.
for 1:30.
I know, she's my favorite teacher, I think.
She's so nice.
Mm-hmm. Okay, do you think we should end it?
Yeah, I think we have enough on here. I mean, we hit all the points, I think.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, we're like at the 30. So.
Yeah, was this the only asynchronous thing that we had to do, was just the discussion and post it?
Yeah, I think so. I'm looking at it right now real quick.
I didn't see anything else.
I'm still stuck on that realization, the female books having the romance focus.
Yes.
It's so crazy.
Yeah.
I like never see dystopians with male main characters.
Yeah. Unless it's like a spinoff, I can't think of anything.
There's only, maybe it's a female category, I guess.
Don't sleep on Game Changer with my boy Ash.
Ooh, have you read Ender's Game? No, that's sci-fi, I think.
I did read it. I didn't like it. It was my freshman year of high school. I didn't like it.
I liked it.
I couldn't get through it.
Would you consider I Am number 4? Would you consider that dystopian or science, like the sci-fi? Did any of you guys read that?
Isn't it a spin-off of Divergent or something?
No, it was like a standalone. Well, it was like.
Did it come out near that and just get swept up with it? That's probably.
But it was made into a movie as well. I think it's probably categorized as both. Yeah, but he does have like a romance. Like there is like a romance factor in that. So it's probably the only book I can think of that had like a main character that was a male and then like a romance factor.
There's definitely a couple, but it's definitely more prominent with the females. Like I'd have to like look at a list and be like, oh, okay. I like can't think of any off the top of my head.
Yeah,
that's interesting. Feminine category. It's very interesting.
All right, friends.
I'd say that's good. I'd say that's solid.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna stop the recording before we leave, and then
you can send it and we can check.
Yes. Okay, so